Nightcrawler, like Mystique, made the cover of American Cinematographer. It also made the cover of Makeup Artist magazine. I loved Alan Cummings' Nightcrawler. This is Troy Hill Jackson's drawing of Alan in character. Our first test had an elfish quality with a reflective burnish to his skin I liked, but caused some consternation, so we made him less elfish and removed the reflective burnish. A mistake, I thought. Nightcrawler Incognito. His tail moved in sympathy with his body. A difficult challenge, but it worked. It comprised of a variety of tapered spring steel inserts, which gave the tail its position and natural movement. Each insert locked into a pelvis harness, preventing it from rotating. The platinum silicone tail slid freely over the insert, locking its position independently into the harness with Velcro. It was a kit. Joe Ventura sculpted the tail. This is the tip with its mold. His teeth were made by Fxsmith in London. Never had a problem. Our camera-ready Platsil Gel 10 prosthetic hands slid on with a little baby powder. Their nails were made of urethane and crazy glued on. We could take the gloves off between shots and put them on when camera was ready. None of the action he was required to perform could harm them. If anything, they protected him. For stunts, we built gloves on spandex inner liners, or for extreme abuse, cocktail gloves. They all came out of the same molds. Evan Penny sculpted and molded the gloves. We'd never attempted it before because the common belief was that a glove was a glove. But once on, that belief changed. They felt great to wear and use. Whatever the hand, the glove physically adapted, not unlike it was made for it. They were translucent, intrinsically colored, with cosmetic-grade food coloring, just like Mystique's prosthetic. They needed nothing other than a good wash with soap and water. In this application, Nightcrawler was shirtless, so we used individual finger appliances. We applied them with the same silicone they were made of. We could work edges and mat any topical shine with baking soda. It took us years to find baking soda. The quality of the shine matched both the prosthetic and the skin. Our safeguard with the finger appliances were the scars, located to help us mask any edges. A lot of work not required had he been wearing a shirt. Nightcrawler's feet prosthetics were built over custom leather dance slippers that held tight around his ankle, or over knee-high socks. Some feet we built over winter boots. These are the cores we built the feet over. They're in 2 parts for easy removal. The one pair of feet adapted comfortably to each of the many stunt performers. They were maintenance-free, always camera-ready. The scars came from a collection of ancient symbols used to conjure angels. Very Nightcrawler. Tattoo paper allowed us to map the design onto his body, a design by Damien Romanchild. The scar material was a pigmented Pax latex, applied with dental syringes. A very labor-intensive job for very steady hands. The scars are where all the time went. The time it took to apply them and the time it took for them to dry, especially on this particular day, exposing his torso and arms. Jay McLennan, Charles Porlier, and Toby Lindelof never stopped. The torso was a big job, and it could not be hurried. Charles Porlier formulated the final paint. It looked great and stayed put. I would have preferred at least to have seen Nightcrawler's skin done in food coloring once. His hands and feet were, but I never got the chance. A producer said to me, "Opaque, like the comic books," to which I had to reply, "Everybody's skin is opaque in a comic book." Nightcrawler's paint still looked great, as did Mystique's, opaque or not. No one other than me had any curiosity to see the difference. Jay McLennan built Nightcrawler's ear prosthetics in the trailer. He applied them with Platsil Gel 10, matted out edges with baking soda. They were intrinsically colored, the same as Nightcrawler's hands and feet. Donna Glidden gives his hair a final touch before we go to set. Fringe. Mark Valley's skin breaks down and clears so we can see beneath it. The job, our tribute to the Invisible Man. Full body, 5 weeks, no CG. Not really a job, just producers looking to save a buck. Until Neil Morel suggested testing photographic detail on tattoo paper, which if possible could give us a paper-thin prosthetic, which put the job back on the table, if we could make it work. I asked for a week to test it. Stuart McGinnis helped us sample detail from Zygote's digital 3D anatomical model. Amro Attila digitally softened each image's edges to blend into the skin and gave the image as much depth as he could. We printed Amro's artwork onto tattoo paper. The print side was then covered in a thin layer of silicone to lock the image. Then we wet and removed the paper. We then sealed the back side with another thin layer of silicone, encapsulating the image, making it permanent and reusable. Our first problem was that once off the white paper backing, white disappeared from the image, replaced by the color of the actor's skin. The solution was painting the white back, letting it thin toward the edges to transition into the skin. The second problem was the total lack of three-dimensional detail for light to reflect off. The solution to that was to flip the appliance on its back and add silicone gel where we needed to highlight the anatomy. We then flipped the appliance over onto a piece of glass and shaped the new silicone to precisely where we needed it to be. To tie all the appliances together, Amro built us an elaborate system of tattoo veins. The vein details from the digital model didn't look right to any of us. It was, of course, just not as we had imagined. Amro solved that problem by sampling lightning, which was exactly the way we imagined veins should look. I don't know why. It was fast and easy to do, and it was all the image needed to be seen as three-dimensional. Ice is a water-soluble gel manufactured by Ultra Materials. It has unique properties that lets it remain glass clear no matter how much you agitate it. A little water and it smooths to ice. It is also dense enough to stay where you put it. We used it to bond the prosthetic to the skin. We colored it to a translucent fat to help blend edges while letting the veins show through. It was also the 1/4-inch thick surface that covered the whole body. Light saw both that surface as well as the surfaces below it. There was nothing to cure. It stayed flexible. He could get up and go to the bathroom, and the girls could have him back camera ready in a half an hour. Removal of all the prosthetics and 95% of the gel took no more than a half an hour. The rest was a hot shower. The prosthetic was cleaned, ready for the next day. They added the CG element to get down to the bones and the inner organs, but it didn't need it. Every frame worked off the floor. The Benjamin Button series documents both silicone head casting and an exploration into approaches to translucent silicone gel prosthetic fabrication outside of even our box. To learn more, enjoy my candid autobiography. 2 volumes. It's available on Amazon and Kindle. Be safe.